back today.
Hey.
Mayor, it is so good to host this with you.
It's wonderful to have you back.
Well, it's wonderful that Drew's on vacation
so I
get to do this.
Here at the Kokomo Post, but just back in the hot seat to do the show.
I know. It's not often that you and I get to do this together, so it's always a pleasure when, I get my turn.
Was it back in November, December?
It's been a long time.
It has been a while.
That was before this whole setup happened. Mm-hmm. And everything's going great.
Well, awesome to have you.
Well, awesome to have you. Thank you for coming every single week like you do. And thank you guys for tuning in. As always, this show is partnered with Robert Miller and Son Furniture. Absolutely. And you guys know the drill here. If you have questions for the mayor, now is your chance. You're going to leave those in the comment section below. We've also had some posts go out later or before in the week. So I have all of those to go through today. And you know what? I think that we should go ahead and thank Robert Miller and Son Furniture.
Let's do.
Just out of the gate.
Great
because
sponsors.
those guys are awesome over there. I get to see them, a few times a month so we can do live videos. They have lots of cool things happening there. So if you're a fan of ethically made furniture with a focus on zero waste and time-honored craftsmanship, you'll definitely want to check out the selection of Maven furniture pieces at Robert Miller & Son. With a wide range of solid wood, hand-constructed Amish products, you are sure to find something that you love. You can call Robert Miller & Son at 765-450-7254 to learn more. You gonna do it? You gonna call him? You gonna learn more?
We should.
You need to furnish anything?
Not at this juncture. Now my daughter is now working in the real world now that she graduated, and so in time she may get her own place. So we just might at that point.
There you have it. Well, you know where to look when that time comes. Mayor, what have you been up to? What happened over the weekend?
Nothing.
I need absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing happened in the city.
No, all kinds of things happen in the city.
Well, let's talk about
it. I mean, you're the queen of that. It's like if you don't know what's going on in Kokomo or you're bored, it's their fault, right?
Exactly. That's right. That's my tagline every single week.
Every single week.
If you're bored in Kokomo, it's entirely your fault. Yep. And that's because there's so much going on. In fact, there is so much happening this weekend and
coming
this week.
Up. That's right.
Haynes-Apperson
right around the corner. I can't believe it's July already.
I know. It's flying by.
Nuts.
Summer's going to be here and gone before you know it. But I know that everybody gets super excited for summer in Kokomo because there's just really nobody that does festival season, fair season, concert season like we do here in Kokomo.
Absolutely.
This past weekend, the Riverwalk concert series kicked off, which was amazing. Kyle from the Coterie, he brings in
a great job. Some great
talent.
Absolutely acts from all over the country.
Have you been able to make it out there yet for one of the shows?
Not yet. Not this summer yet.
Not yet this summer, but in the past you have.
Oh, yeah, definitely in the past. Yeah, yes. I mean, it's the perfect venue. It really is. It's intimate. He's got, brews set up.
Yes.
He's even tossing burgers around now as well. So there's food and beverage and such. Very family friendly venue. And it's just perfect right off the walk.
Well, what you just said, family friendly, which is huge because a lot of people want to do stuff with their families in town. A lot of times when there's live music in town, they're at bars and their families can't go. So you can bring your families, you can bring your pets, and it's totally free.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so kudos to those that, may not have small children or pets or whatever that welcome those, because you get a lot of people like, we don't want to go to this or that because there may be kids running around. I mean, there's going to be kids bebopping around but it's just a great family setting.
It's awesome.
And very good.
Yeah, awesome. Well, let's talk about your weekend. What did you do this weekend?
A lot of stuff at home. So getting things knocked off the to-do list with that. Still had a small splash of graduation open houses to finish up, believe it or not. I mean, but I think, we're done. I don't know if there's others that are still happening, but again, congratulations to all of our grads, high school, college, trades, whatever, on your success. And best wishes as you head out to the future. Yeah. Had daughter in from Michigan because she's doing her internship or observations for the summer up there while she's taking class. So just hung out a little bit with her as well.
Just some family time.
Some family downtime. Yep.
Drew's watching. He says good afternoon. So
hey, good afternoon.
No pressure that I'm hosting his show.
None.
Okay, so none at all. Love that. Well, let's talk about what's happening at City Hall because, like I said, we're getting into busy season here in Kokomo, and just in Kokomo in general. That doesn't even involve the festivals, the fairs, all of the things. What else do we have going on? I know that there's a lot of anticipation right now with some moves being made on that Sam Samsung battery plant. I know that there's been lots of talk about housing for all of those people that are going to come through. So talk to us about maybe that and what else has been happening at City Hall.
That's it. I mean, all hands on deck on trying to entice some developers to bring us much needed housing. So there's a housing shortage, not just in Kokomo and Howard County, but across the state, probably even the nation. But with everything that's going on and with the anticipated amount of workers that will be coming not only to the battery plant, but some of the suppliers, and also any additional businesses that are outside of the battery electric vehicle world, we want to be able to not only welcome them, but give them a place to live and experience all that Kokomo and Howard County has to give. So still meeting on a regular basis with interested developers and seeing if things can work out into their marketing plan or their bailiwick to bring us, whether it's multi-family housing, which is like apartments, or even townhome style, single-family residences and subdivisions and such, little mixed use, which would be apartment style living with some commercial or retail space, entertainment as part of that mixed in. So whatever they want to bring, we'll take, because we got folks that are coming, and we definitely want to have something available, and we're behind the 8 ball on it.
Yeah. So. And you know what? I do want to ask, because I haven't heard it being mentioned here lately. I know that in the past there was a talk, and there was actually an article about it, like a hotel that you stay in for long periods of time.
Yeah, an extended stay.
Is that still in the plans?
One of the 3 hotels that are now under construction and being completed out along Cartwright Drive, I believe one of those is an extended stay facility, and that's really for this workforce. I mean, that those that may be just on a year or 2 year work rotation type of schedule with either the battery plant or supplier. So it's that, but that is the only one that I'm aware of that is currently under development or construction at this time. But there's a lot of other developments too that we're hearing that they're putting in single family residence or even mixed. But it's kind of a rent to own type of thing. So they come in. I get that there's like contracts, land contracts and such, but it's designed specifically for rental. I mean, I get that you can rent single family homes and such, but it's a developments that are geared specifically for that type of situation.
Yeah. So. Well, I know that this is exciting news for all of Kokomo. You have given us details and updates on this for a very long time, but we haven't gotten a little personal about it. I want to know what you're most excited about for this factory to come here and for the population to grow here and just new culture, new people, exploring Kokomo. So what's the most exciting thing to you about that? And what do you think Kokomo is going to look like once people get here and it starts to get more established?
Yeah, it's nothing that we had anticipated, 3 years ago,
right?
Even a year and a half ago, before the announcement was made. But you're right. I think the influx of folks and the great diversity that'll be coming, not just folks that'll be coming from around the region to fill some of those spots that are available, but our Korean national friends as well that will be in. It'll be a fun influx of culture into our community and that influx that many individuals and businesses are embracing. Through the Chamber of Commerce's Korean integration series of workshops that they're offering. The interest and attendance at those has been off the charts. And so kudos to the Chamber and the Alliance for spearheading that. But then just as those not just as the folks get here to work, but as the battery plant and suppliers are up and operational, just the additional interest and hopefully commerce that it will bring with it. I mean, a fun mix of restaurants and hopeful markets, but then even other industry. I mean, I think that because of what we were able to accomplish by landing the battery plant and now its suppliers, that folks are seeing that maybe as much as some may may hate it, that we're close enough to Indianapolis that we are, more of a bedroom community of the Indianapolis area and have a lot to offer that, folks could live and entertain up here and still get to Indianapolis if they're working down there. So with the bypass, that commute has made that possible.
Yeah.
So, I think, outside of what's going on the northeast side of town, that there's the possibility that 3 to 5 years from now, we could have an additional dedicated industrial park, bring another business or industry opportunity here. And it may even spark a little bit of activity that folks have been hoping for on the west side of town as well.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it sounds like a lot of exciting things are coming to Kokomo here very soon. Here's one thing we have to address is the people of Kokomo. If there's one thing they really dislike, it's change, right? We've experienced this.
And it's tough.
It is hard.
It is hard.
But I believe this is good change, right? That people
absolutely.
can look forward to.
Yes, and a lot of that, it's the fear of the unknown. Not knowing what that's going to be like, and we've all gone through it. Whether we're talking about graduations, and such, everybody, from high school on, whether it's in college, trade union, so just changes, in what normal life may be, and how you interact and where you interact with folks and such. It's definitely changed. It's the fear and concern of the unknown, and fortunately, more times than not, the change is good and it's embraced, and it ends up not being as much of a change or that life altering or negative as they may think it is. So it's just all about embracing it.
Embrace the change, folks. It's going to be good.
Take the reins and drive
Make
it.
a stronger Kokomo. I'm looking forward to seeing what this Samsung factory provides for all of us. To mention some other things in the works, the hotel and conference center. We have any updates on that?
Still moving along. I believe the bids were back, and so they're now combing through those and finalizing that so that the developer can then finalize and secure his financing. So hopefully we'll be breaking ground by October. I know it keeps getting pushed back. We were hoping and, keeping fingers crossed, but it's becoming more of a reality. And so we're excited for that.
We'll have to put a book note for October so we can go back and see. Excited for that to go in as well.
Yes.
Any other exciting Kokomo news that we need to know about this week?
Exciting news about Kokomo this week.
Something upcoming, maybe something happening in the summer that people don't know.
Obviously, everybody loving their chicken. We're seeing the dirt moving and everything there on the corner of Markland and 931, Raising Cane's. They're moving right along on that.
Battle of the Chicken there on Markland.
I know it, which will spark some additional development, hopefully on that corner. So that's always good. But no, outside of the jackrabbits in full swing, and no pun intended, and the Haynes Apperson right around the corner. Man, just hang on to your hats, and then because right after the Haynes Apperson, we take a breather, and after the 4th, cruise right into fair season.
That's
out
right.
To Greentown.
We are in full-fledged festival and fair season. I'm so glad you mentioned that because that's what we're going to talk a little bit about. Cool. Is Haynes Apperson is this week, and there's so much that goes into that festival. Each year it gets bigger and better. Have to address from the very top all the people that ask us every single week, why isn't Haynes Apperson in the square anymore? So I know that we've talked about this before. Can we quickly address why it is being held in Foster Park?
Mainly is because of the pavilion, the stage, if you will, that was constructed. For a number of years, there were businesses, in the downtown area or around the square that were really inconvenienced. And so, with the weekend being shut down from Thursday, to Saturday, sometimes, it used to be spill over into Sunday as well at times. But I think, the previous administration's decision not only to invest in the Performing Arts Pavilion down in Foster Park, getting the acts down there and starting the summer concert series there, but just to have everything in a centralized location, because I know when it was on the square, there were vendors and such around the square, but then the rides were just off the beaten path a block or so away, and actually the lots that were open and available for those rides now have parking garages on them. So that's part of the problem and concern as well. But I think that's the primary was to, support the concerns with the downtown businesses, but then also to have everything be focused around the pavilion and have everything centralized and located in that one large area.
So there you have it, folks. There's your answer to that question. And I know even before Haynes-Apperson Festival time arrives, we are always getting questions about that. Why is it not in the square? Yeah. Why can't it be around the square anymore?
And I know we've, in the last few years, I mean, obviously with the new administration, people say, okay, well, this was done then, can things be changed? Because there have been concerns raised about the handicap accessibility for those in wheelchairs or even on with walkers and such navigating through the grass or the slope of the path down through there. And so working with the Parks Department, and I believe some of the comments that we've received from the survey that's out now for our Parks Master Plan that we're in the process of completing, there have been requests for considerations of maybe a handicap viewing area, some additional maybe under surface netting or grading, because we had done that just off of the parking area by the skate park for the band. The performers when they're bringing their equipment in, it was leaving ruts and such, and so there was a subsurface material placed underneath the grass to give support for that. So maybe it's something looking along those ways. And so yes, those that are saying get it back on the square because there's hard surfaces and such, it makes it hard to navigate. We've heard those concerns and working through some possibilities to make that more enjoyable for everyone, not just for the Haynes-Apperson, but for the summer concert series and all the events that are held down there and with performances on the stage. Well,
I'm so glad you brought up that survey too, because if you guys missed that, you need to keep your eyes peeled for things like that on the city page on Facebook, on our Facebook page, because we shared that when that was available. But what a great way for you to be able to take a survey and tell the city what you want from your park system. I know I took that survey and there was lots and lots of questions to be answered on there. There were spots for you to fill in the blank so you could let the city know what you want from your park. So that is such an awesome way to get your opinion across, which is what Kokomo wants to do, right? This is why we do this show, so people can talk to your mayor, you can ask questions, you can find out answers. That's another great way for you to be involved in your city. So keep your eyes peeled for that. If you're not following the Facebook pages, go do that. What are you doing? If you need changes, yes, go do that. Haynes-Apperson, what are you doing this week, Mayor? Are you going to be in the parade? Are you going to be eating some things, riding rides?
Yes, and probably not.
Okay.
So get to participate in the parade. Always a good time with that. Definitely eat some festival foods. I'm just like the Greentown Fair, the 4-H fair. Always in search of the best corn dog for the festival. So I'll probably mill my way through those for that. The rides, probably not so much. I mean, those are popular, and it's usually long lines and such. And so head down there just to enjoy the acts each night. Mummies, Ace Frehley, and then Starship. I mean, another stellar lineup by the Haynes-Apperson Committee. So looking forward to it. Yeah, it's going to be a fun week here in Kokomo. Parade, did you say if you were in the parade? Yep, going to do the parade. Yep. But then also everybody pray for, I know we're supposed to get a little bit of rain here and there. Let's hope that it's kind of spotty throughout the week, holds off for the weekend, so that there's no concerns with the big fireworks show Saturday night. I will cross my fingers and toes, because I will tell you, the Haynes-Apperson Festival fireworks show is my favorite fireworks show in Kokomo and surrounding areas. There's a big boom. I love it. If I can't feel the fireworks in my heart, I don't want them. I can feel them in my heart. Of your soul. Just in you can feel the boom. I need to recover afterwards, like sit in a quiet space. Yeah, I want that, and that's what it gives, and I love that. So yes, getting really excited for that. You mentioned fair food and a corn dog specifically. So Mayor, I want to put you on the spot. Your top 3 favorite fair foods. Corn dog, hands down. This is the classic. Top. Speaking of classics, probably the elephant ear. I was hoping you'd say that. The smaller ones, I think. The mini ears. The mini ears too. So take your pick. Deep fried dough, just can't lose. And then, third from the top. It's hard, right? Put you on the spot. Yeah.
So many choices.
Usually something that's
we
messy.
Want
I mean,
messy. Okay.
Yeah, messy's always good. I mean, you can't go wrong with a nice fresh ear of corn, dipped in a
It is Indiana after
butter
all.
bucket.
I have a question,
Yes.
Mayor Moore, producer Heidi here. What makes the perfect corn dog?
Yeah, good question.
I think, obviously the proof is in the pudding, so they say. So the breading. I mean, but it's got to be. I mean, you don't want to skimp on the dog. I mean,
Don't skimp on
The corn dog to dog ratio.
The corn, yeah.
Cornbread
So the bread to dog ratio, a good balance of that. But I mean, again, because I'm a sucker for good hot dogs too, he went definitely. I think the beef dog on the stick, but yeah, then just don't skimp on the bread.
What about the ones that are like 3 feet long?
Yeah, sometimes run into. I mean, those are always fun. Those are a novel thing. Like, oh, look, I got a 3 foot long corn dog. But I mean, I think a lot of it's because they go with the thinner dogs in order to do that, to make it cost efficient for them. They sometimes you're almost better off doubling up on a good thick couple corn dogs as opposed to a 2 or 3 footer.
When we see you at the Haynes Apperson this weekend, you're going to be double fisting hot dogs.
I'll be double fisting corn dogs.
I love it. Yep. Corn dogs, that's right. All right, well, we got that. Haynes Apperson, like I said, starts this week. We have all kinds of details and information on that on the KokomoPost.com. Make sure that you check that out. We have announced we haven't announced. It's been out for a long time. All of the shows that are going to be performing this week. Here Come the Mummies returning. I know that people get really excited for them. That is a part of the summer concert series. We've been talking a lot about that. We have all the details and information about that as well, again, on the KokomoPost.com. In fact, we just did a very exciting interview with an act that I don't think we've had here before, at least that I don't have memory of. They're going to be capping off the summer concert series with Runaway June.
Runaway June.
What a big deal.
Yes, I know.
I was so excited to see that. For those of you that are country music fans, then you probably don't need a description of who they are. If you don't listen to country music, a quick Google search will take you to some of their most popular songs, which I'm sure that you've heard before. But they are a country music all-female trio, and they're going to be coming here. And I actually got a virtual interview with them.
Perfect.
So that'll be coming out later.
Very cool.
And yeah, I'm super excited for that. So lots of fun to be had here in Kokomo. I think it's time to get into these questions because we have a whole lot of them.
Let's do.
This is the Ask the Mayor segment, partnered with Lexi's Drink Barn, as we have right here. Mayor, what's your order?
The Drew, duh.
The Drew.
Yeah.
I think this is a little
Coke
offensive,
Zero with
considering
sugar-free
I'm
vanilla.
the host today.
But again, as was mentioned in the 2 previous shows, you have to distinguish which Drew you want. You either get
the coffee,
the Coke
the soda.
Zero with sugar-free vanilla, or the iced coffee caffeine overload.
Yeah.
It's got
Drew's
6
coffee.
shots of something
I didn't hear
in it.
what he said for the Drew, but I can imagine that his coffee order is a little absurd.
Well,
because
it's written down. I mean, because when I ordered the Drew, she looked up and she was like, "Oh, okay, so the iced coffee." I'm like, whoa, wait a second. You mean there's 2? There's 2 Drews? I thought there was only 1 Drew.
Wow.
One Drew is enough.
1 Drew is enough. But no, Lexi's doubles up on the Drews 2 different ways.
There you go. You can order that, or just a Diet Coke or a Sprite or something like that. You take your pick. You go.
That's right.
Go to Lexi's. We go to Lexi's daily, and I truly mean that. Heidi's holding one up.
hers.
I've got one on my desk. Lexi's is a necessity to each and every day here at the Kokomo Post. But let's get into these questions. We have a question from Robin on Facebook. There are many people upset about the Gateway Gardens move. Has this already been set in stone, or are you willing to listen to those who are concerned and not happy about the situation? For some reason, I was under the impression that those in government positions were supposed to listen to voters versus only making these decisions on their own.
So, yes, we are always open to listening to those in concerns. And you asked what I did this weekend. I had a handful of conversations with some of the neighbors in the West Side neighborhoods that are concerned with that. Obviously, there's a public process that this has all gone through already, and what's being considered right now is just the rezoning. So the meeting this evening for City Council is the first reading for the rezoning of the property. It's not to decide or finalize the site plan or the development plan. I mean, now everybody wants to know what's being proposed for that zoning. So tonight is the first meeting for that, which again is the first reading. So the second and final reading would be 2 weeks from now on July 10th. So there's still time for information to be gathered, for questions to be answered, and such. And so it is not a done deal with that, and it's really not even a done deal, so to speak, if the rezoning goes through, because it is being rezoned for multifamily, which again we've already talked about. I mean that there is a need, but there's the concern with. Some think that the entire Gateway Gardens or Garden Square development, a whole 175 units, are being moved over to that West Sycamore site, and that's incorrect. There's only 48 of those units now. But folks have some concerns. They've raised those, and I mean, we're hearing them. They make phone calls. There's petitions circulating, and so everything that folks are doing, and because this goes through the process, it's gone to the Planning Commission, and there's been a public hearing for that. Again, tonight's City Council meeting, public hearing. The second meeting is public hearing. I mean, so these bodies are voting on that, and again, yes, there's hundreds, 3 or I guess 400 or 500, folks that have signed some circulating petitions and such. And so, yes, I mean, they take into consideration that, as well as the, the needs throughout the community for the additional 59,000 plus folks that live in Kokomo. And so I'm sure the council will not take this lightly. And, as much as what people may think, it's not a done deal. It's not being, decided on, behind closed doors, or, that, people are getting, I guess, certain, additional anything out of it. It's just, we're going through the public process, and, I've told everybody, I mean, my position is to allow them, the process to take its way. I'm not going to tell or force, bully, threaten anybody into voting one particular way or another, because it's going through that process.
There you have it. All right. Hopefully that answered the question for her. We have Carla from Facebook. Mm-hmm. She wants to know, why does Paul Wyman get first bids on properties? Why aren't these properties offered to our average taxpayers? I'm
not sure which properties. I'm assuming she's talking about the properties that are being considered for this development. They're not offered to Mr. Wyman. I mean, Mr. Wyman represents the property owner of one of the two properties that are being considered for this conversion. And I mean, there are, over 100 real estate agents here in the Kokomo and Howard County area, and a good majority of them have homes or properties listed, so nothing's being offered to Mr. Wyman. I mean, he's not the seller of the property that's in question, or either one of those. He just happens to be representing the seller of one particular one. But no, I mean, there are a handful, like I said, over 100 realtors, all top notch. I mean, they're all members of the Realtors Association here in town, and it's a group of professionals that provide the best services when people buy and sell property. So I don't quite know that, what information they've heard to hear or to assume that anything that happens is being handled by one particular realtor over another, or the purchase as well.
All right, there you have it. Let's see. Andrea from Facebook. Are there plans to fix the road from Washington from North Street all the way to Markland? It has gotten really bad, she says.
From North Street all the way to Markland?
Yep. From Washington, from North Street.
Probably not all the way to Markland. It's our desire to take or give some attention from Jefferson to North Street, and possibly beyond. I mean, up to the point or so. But again, based on projects that we have and funding that we can apply for, a lot of times with the community crossing funds that are made available in 2 different disbursements each year. We get projects together, and sometimes it takes a couple of years to get design, bid, part of the application, and funded. So long answer short, so Washington Street, knowing that there's definitely some attention and love that needs to be given from Jefferson Street North, that would be our next desire, since, I know it's been a little while, but from Jefferson South, at least to Park, there had been some attention and improvements made on that stretch in the last 10 to 15 years. So
yeah, there you have it. It looks like we have some questions coming in live on Facebook. It disappeared, but somebody asked, which is a question we already answered. So she wanted to know why Haynes Apperson wasn't moved downtown. We've answered this so many times, but MTM just gave a great explanation as to why. So when this is done and over with, make sure you go back and watch that, because that's great information and not a silly question at all, because that's something we get asked all the time and people are genuinely curious. So that's a great way to find out. Just go back.
Keeps it all there, and just easier for folks to gather and watch the acts.
Yep. She says it gets too muddy over there.
True.
It does.
There is that.
There's going to be pros and cons, I think, no matter what you do, right?
Right.
Yeah. So make sure that you go back, you check that out. Live one just came in from Brienne, and she wants to know, can we push getting sidewalks fixed that are torn up or have tree roots upping them? As a mom, it's hard walking on the sidewalks.
Yes. So depending on where the sidewalks are, and if it's a particular neighborhood, the city does have a sidewalk program 50-50. So folks on a particular block, instead of just doing it in certain sections, typically like to do the entire block, but get buy-in from at least 60% of the owners on any given block to then work with the city to improve that whole stretch. Now, if it's something specific, like you mentioned, tree roots, we can have the street maintenance department come out and take a look at the tree to see if what type of damage it is, if the tree needs to be removed or the roots cut back, and consider looking at repairing that particular section that may be uplifted by a tree root, but they can contact the street maintenance department and put in a request for them to consider checking it out and seeing if something can be done or should be done.
There you have it. Report a sidewalk. That's how you do it. Roger from Facebook. This is a nice one. You got some hard-hitting ones out of the gate. Right. He says, I'm walking on the wooded trails in Jackson Morrow Park right now with the family. What are your favorite trails in the area to hike, or your favorite outdoor things to do?
I love the trails. I've been trying to get myself back out into running again, and kind of partial to the Industrial Heritage Trail. It's kind of a straight shot north and south, but still taking the offshoot up to the Cloverleaf that runs through Foster Park, and then up to May Lake Park is always fun. Looking forward to completing that last stretch of the Cloverleaf from Markland out to Dixon, which is that last stretch that we own on the north side of Deffenbaugh. Still working with the railroad company to hopefully secure the rail line from Deffenbaugh through Rocheville down to the county line. But yeah, definitely love our trails. I've not been out on I've been by it, and don't know if I have any business being on it, but the new pump track.
I was just getting ready to talk about that.
That's right. And so we will, the official, I don't know if we posted it out yet, so this may be the first too.
Exclusive?
Exclusive.
I don't know if you know this. I love nothing more than an exclusive.
So next Friday, July 7th, I believe. That's the 7th. Yes. Will be the official grand opening, the official opening, the official ribbon cutting, if you want to do that, up for the pump track, 2:00 out there. We've contacted the family because the park itself was dedicated to a young man who died in the line of service for our country, and so the family's been contacted. They're going to have some representation there as well. But yeah, 2:00 July 7th, next Friday, will be the official ribbon cutting or opening. I mean, everybody's been on it, but official opening of the pump track and unveiling of the mural.
Yeah, that is so exciting. I can't wait for people to be able to go outside and use that.
It's cool.
Yeah, that is a great addition to Kokomo. And for people that don't know, where is that located?
So it's the old North Side Ballpark. So just off of Gano Street and right off of one of the north stretch of the Industrial Heritage Trail as it heads up that way. So Northside Little League Ballpark, the old ballpark there off of Gano. Yeah,
and if you just type into the search bar on Facebook there, the Pump Bike Track Kokomo, that'll pop up. You can see some photos on there. I think there was one of the officers riding on there? Did a little
He was
demo?
on a skateboard. He
okay,
did
that's
the
right.
skateboard riding as opposed to the bike. But a few, I think a month or two back.
Yeah, really cool.
On camera,
Yeah, so if you want to see how that works, because I know I didn't know what a pump bike track was, you guys can check that out. Another question from Monica on Facebook. Why are they willing to negotiate the contract to let new signal techs into the union, but refuse to allow the previous signal techs to join the union, causing them to leave the city with no electricity or electricians or signal techs?
Okay, well, that was... we're in between contract with the AFSCME folks, so that's the union for the city workers that are not police or fire. It was not brought up, I believe, in the previous contract negotiations, but it's something that's being considered for the next, which isn't next year. I think it's the year after. So we're only a year into the new contract. So because there's been that desire for them to be included, I'm sure that's something that will be considered as part of the next contract when it's negotiated.
All right, there you have it.
I think we may have some interest to hire those two positions. So
there you have it.
Knock on wood that we got some good ones.
Knock on wood. This question is from Nicole on Facebook, and there was a comment below that somebody left. So I'll let you answer the question and also say true or false, okay? Nicole from Facebook says, why are there still not enough medics available for emergency calls? And then the comment underneath said that there are enough medics available for emergency calls. The problem is that people are making in very unnecessary 911 emergency calls for things that are truly not emergencies, and that's the problem.
Well, and when you say unnecessary 911 calls, I mean, some people, if they're shorter, if they're not sure of the situation, I mean, yes, the first inclination is to call 911, and so the last thing you want is to not think that there's something needed. But yes, there are. I mean, as both hospitals, provide paramedics. And there's two types of ambulance services. So there's ALS or BLS. So the basic life support or what is it? Accelerated? No, not accelerated. I forget what the A is for the.
We can Google it.
I know, the life support. And so the ALS, are the paramedics. And so everyone and each one of the Kokomo firefighters is a registered EMS, is certified in EMS, and so it's for basic life support. So that's why fire trucks are typically dispatched to emergency runs right away. And so the issue typically lies with transports. And so because we've got the Kokomo Fire Department still has an ambulance, it is still only BLS or basic life support. So bringing that back in, which we hope to do, we're working on staffing because we've got to increase the numbers to be able to cover the shift for the ambulance, as well as still have what we feel is adequate staffing on the trucks. Once we get to that, bringing that ambulance in, I mean, still does not provide a medic available. I mean, it provides another ambulance, to treat, provide BLS or basic life support, and could assist in the transport if we need to. But typically, if the situation is accentuated or is drastic enough that it needs advanced life support, that there's still the medic there, and both hospitals provide that. it's, yes, it may seem like there's still not available, just because, it's mentioned that, but more times than not, that it's reported that there's no medic available, and minutes later, one is released to respond to that call. But it's something that we're continuing to talk with the hospitals about, again, working on increasing numbers in the fire department, again, so that we're not pulling guys or gals off of trucks, or putting the overtime budget in jeopardy. So it's an ongoing need, but to place all the blame on people making non-necessary or non-emergency 911 calls, that does create an issue and a problem at times. But again, sometimes can't, you got to give them the benefit of the doubt if they're not sure what's actually going on. Now,
you're better safe than sorry, folks, regardless of what it is. So let's see here. 2 more, and then you're out of the hot seat. We have a question from Chris on Facebook. He wants to know, when will the activity start for special needs in Kokomo? Any updates?
No updates right now. I know there's a lot of things going on, and the Parks Department would probably be where a lot of those would fall under, because then those would be provided at some of the shelters that we have. And I know right now, staffing wise, they are busting at the seams with programs and such for kids, the senior center for our seniors as well. And so going to keep looking at that to work it into the mix and see if something can be worked in. Otherwise, if there's organizations in town that would like to use the facilities to provide additional activities or programs for those with special needs, obviously open to it.
Yeah, for sure. And last but certainly not least, I had to save this one for last, and I want to read it exactly how she wrote it, because it made me giggle earlier. So Georgie from Facebook says, Mr. Mayor Tyler Moore, how would you like me to properly snitch on litter bugs? And also, what is your address? Because I've been lying that you live on my block. And also, can you put a Starbucks closer to downtown? Please and thank you. Amen.
All right.
So feel free to just blast your address here for the world.
I know. The properly snitching on litter bugs. If there's, obviously, depending on the severity of it, or the recency, or what the situation may be, obviously you can contact. I wish I knew the non-emergency 911 call, so you can call dispatch, for non-emergency issues, or even the Kokomo Police Department to have someone potentially address it. Otherwise, kind of joking. Social media always seems to put people in check too. Them out. But you hate to bring too much attention to yourself on that by doing it. But no, they can always contact my office, 456-7444, if there's somebody that's doing it on a regular basis, that we can then send somebody out to have a conversation with them. With that, Starbucks downtown. Never say never. We've already got some great coffee shops downtown. Mojo's is downtown. Yes. And so, if Starbucks would work its way down into the area, we'd be happy to welcome them. But there are some great options already. And the address, I live on Tumbleweed Drive.
Wow.
So,
okay.
If you're in and around the Western Woods area and around Tumbleweed and Brandon and such in there, then we probably live close by.
I am confident in saying she doesn't live near you whatsoever. Oh. She just likes to tell people that.
Oh, got it.
As a little joke. She likes that. Maybe. So, yeah. Okay, Mayor, you did it. I think that you got it. I think you addressed all of her things here. Here's the thing, though. Okay. She was calling people out on social media for the litter bug situation.
There you go.
And I will say the comment section below was alarming, because it sounds like there's some pretty aggressive litterers in town. And I will say I witnessed a very aggressive litterer dump a whole bag of trash into the 306 riverfront view there. So
yeah, see.
But the thing to do is to report it, right?
Try to report. I mean, non-emergency.
Non-emergency. We just covered that. Don't call 911. That's a non-emergency for 911. So we established better be safe than sorry if you're experiencing an injury or something.
Right.
That a litter bug does not fall under 911 category. And you know what? Producer Heidi has been great during the show. I've knocked over my Lexis 3 times now. I'm so sorry. She's been great about posting phone numbers and information in the chat below. So if she left some information down for somebody asking about sidewalks and some other stuff. So if you want to be able to report things, Heidi's got you covered. Make sure that you check that out. I think that wraps up the Ask the Mayor segment today. That was a big one.
That was, yeah.
Yeah, that was good. So love to see it. We've covered lots of important things, lots of hard tasks. If you guys have a question for the mayor, now's your chance. I think I posted on my personal page earlier because I don't get to host this show with you very often. Right. But here's what I told people. I see you on Facebook complaining anyways. So you might as well leave your question below for the mayor.
There you go.
So I can just ask him and you can get your question answered because this is the way to do it, right?
There you go.
And we have stagnant posts on the Kokomo Post, the Kokomo Post Kids, which is brand new. Make sure you check that out.
Love
the Kokomo Post Sports for you guys to drop your questions there. So every week we collect those so we can ask the mayor. We're also wanting to do something really special, okay? On our kids page, we're specifically asking for your kids to submit some questions for Mayor Tyler Moore. That would be amazing. Bonus points. Here's what we really want to do is have some video entries of your kids asking the mayor questions.
That would be fun.
Yes, if they want their superstar moment, their moment to shine, we're going to be able to put their video up on the Mayor Tyler Moore show for your kids to ask the mayor a question, which I think will be adorable.
Also, we have the giveaway for the Kokomo Post Kids.
Close.
Yep.
Glad you stopped and corrected yourself.
Yep.
No FCC here.
Nope.
5-second delay.
No dump button. Keep it rolling, Heidi. You got it.
The winner can be Mayor for a Day.
Yes.
With Tyler
a lot
Moore.
of fun. That's right.
So they get to actually come to City Hall with you and call the shots all day long.
You bet. Yep.
That's amazing. Well, make sure that you guys check it out on the Kokomo Post Kids.
Yeah,
it's so easy to enter to win those contests. It's a simple like, share, comment, and then we pick somebody, random number generator, pick somebody, and then you get to get all the great things. So there you have it. Thank you guys for watching another episode of the Mayor Tyler Moore Show. Things are falling apart. No dump button in the show. Goodbye. Wave to the
See you, Kokomo.
Bye.